Hello, it's story time. We have been learning about seeds and plants, all the things that we do when it's spring. And today we're going to read a book about more seeds and talk about the parts of the plant. So in our meeting, we talked about this flower and we labeled it with all of the parts of a plant. So we talked about the roots down here at the bottom. I know they're kind of hard to see down there in the dirt. So we have our roots and our stem, our leaves, and our flower. And we talked about the petals, the parts, the colored parts of the flower, the little pieces that make up the flower. So we're going to read this book today called The Mystery Seeds, and it's going to help us learn more about these parts of the plant. We talked a little bit about what these parts do for the plant, but this book is going to tell us even more. So let's get started reading. The Mystery Seeds by Christopher Raymond. There's a little boy planting some seeds in his garden. Look, I found some seeds in the garden. Do you know what seeds grow into? We know that seeds grow into plants, don't we? Seeds grow into plants. Which plant do you think the seeds will grow into? How can we find out? So there's all kinds of seeds in this garden, all kinds of plants that have grown. So we wonder which one those little seeds will grow into. How can we find out? It asks. I think they should plant those seeds and see what happens when they start to grow. Let's see if that's what they do. I know. Let's plant the seeds. We'll need soil, a shovel, and pots to plant the seeds in. We'll give them plenty of water and light. So some of you have been planting seeds at home. Some of you made your own seed jar like I did, or put your seeds in a little baggie. But some of you have planted your seeds in soil or dirt, just like this. 1 week later, I see some roots. Roots, that's on our chart down here. And we've even talked about roots before. Here is our vocabulary card for roots. We know that roots suck up the water for the plant. Can you point to the roots? Here they are. Let's draw what we see. Roots help the plant get water and food from the soil. So they drew a picture of the roots. They drew a picture to record what happened and what they saw, just like we're doing with our seed journals, because good scientists always record what they observe. And this says that roots not only help the plant get water by sucking it up, they also get food from the soil. So there is stuff in the soil that the plant needs, and the roots kind of suck that up with the water. Very interesting. 2 weeks later, I see 2 leaves. Can you point to them? Can you point to the 2 leaves? Here we go. Let's count them together. 1, 2. 2 leaves. Leaves help the plant make food. We talked about that in our meeting too, that these leaves, each one, stands out so that it can catch the sunlight. It catches the sunlight and uses that to make food for itself. Now that's kind of hard to understand how a plant can do that. That's what's so special about those plants. They have special parts inside to do that for them. And you'll learn more about that when you're older. But those leaves are very important. They help that plant catch sunlight and make food. Look at the plant now. Oh, wow, it's so tall. Do you see? Now it started out with just 2 leaves, but it's got even more. It's gotten taller. I see a big stem. Can you point to it? Can you point to the stem? We talked about the stem in our meeting when we labeled our chart. The stem is right here. It's that tall part right there. Just like on our flower, right here. The stem carries food and water through the plant. We talked about that the stem of our plants, like this one, or our flowers like this one, hold up the plant, and the stem has a very important job of carrying that water and food that the roots suck up all the way up and down into the leaves, into the flower of the plant. The stem carries what the roots suck up to the plant. It's time to move the mystery plant to the garden. So we still don't know what kind of plant these seeds are going to grow. Do you have any guesses? What do you guess this plant will be? Now sometimes it helps to look at the seeds because seeds are different for every plant. So here's what the seeds look like. They have stripes on them. And this is what the plant looks like now that it has grown. So let's see if your guess is right. Could it be a tomato? Could it be a flower? Could it be green beans? We'll have to wait and find out. What is the mystery plant? It's a sunflower. Some of you are growing sunflower seeds right now. Sunflowers are so beautiful. They're tall flowers that bloom late in the summer. They have big yellow blossoms or flowers on top. And there are those sunflower seeds, just like they showed us at the beginning of the story. Do you know what the flower does? It makes new seeds. Did you know that? We talked about that in our meeting a little bit yesterday when we were labeling our plant. I told you that the inside of the flower is where the seed is made. So while that flower is blooming and the petals are open, inside a seed is being made. So inside the sunflower, the center part of it is where those seeds come from. So these are the petals around the center, and the center is where the seeds grow. Do you remember the parts of a plant? Let's see if we can remember. So put your finger to your brain and think. Let's think about this part down here in the soil. What is that part of the plant called? That is where the roots are. Those are roots. And remember that roots suck up the water for the plant. And our book told us that roots can suck up food from the soil too. It's always good to learn new things, huh? Now, let's see what this part is. This tall part that's holding up the flower. Put your finger to your brain and think, what is that part? It's the stem. Just like on our flower here. There's a stem on that flower, and there's a stem on our sunflower. And we learned that the stem not only holds up the leaves and the flower, but it carries the food and water throughout the plant. So the roots suck up the water and the food from the soil, the leaves make more food, and the stem carries it throughout, back and forth to where it's needed. Now what about these parts over here, coming off the sides of the stem? Let's think. What are those parts? Those are the leaves. That's right. Now each leaf makes food for the plant. It catches the sunlight and it makes food for the plant so that the plant can keep living. And then the part at the top. What is this part called? Let's think. That part is called the flower. That's the pretty and colorful part of the plant. And the flower makes seeds right there in the middle. So when this sunflower is all done blooming and it starts, the leaves start to kind of wilt and turn brown and the petals start to fall away, that brown part inside will put out some new seeds. That's where the seeds are. And then we get to start all over next year with some seeds. and we get to plant them in some soil and watch them grow all over again. Good job finding those parts of a plant. And all the parts of plants are the same. Every plant has roots and stems and leaves. Some plants have flowers, but some don't. And all plants make new seeds to grow new plants. Good job finding those parts of a plant with me today. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time.